There is a silent alarm bell ringing in your bathroom, and you likely flush it away every single morning without a second thought. I am not talking about the color of your urine. I am not talking about the frequency. I am talking about texture, specifically that persistent white layer of foam that lingers in the bowl. If you have seen this, stop ignoring it. That foam is not just air bubbles. It is physical proof that your body's master filtration system has been breached. In a perfectly functioning human OS, your kidneys act like a high-security border patrol. They filter toxins out, but they are programmed to keep vital assets like protein and albumin locked strictly inside your bloodstream. When you see foam that looks like the head of a draft beer and requires multiple flushes to disappear, it means the border is broken. Your filters are literally leaking raw materials. This is the first clinical sign of glomerulosclerosis, the scarring and hardening of the kidney's filtering units. Here is the terrifying reality of renal biology. Your kidneys do not scream when they are dying. They whisper. Unlike your heart or your stomach, the kidneys have very few pain receptors inside the tissue itself. By the time you actually feel kidney pain in your lower back or notice heavy swelling in your ankles, you may have already lost 60 to 70% of your total kidney function. That foam, that is the distress signal sent before the catastrophic engine failure. Most doctors will tell you to watch and wait. We don't do that here. Waiting while your kidneys scar is a guaranteed path to dialysis. In the next 20 minutes, we are going to decode that signal. I'm going to teach you the flush test to distinguish between harmless velocity bubbles and dangerous protein leakage. We'll break down exactly why your filtration barrier is degrading, exposing the hidden dietary triggers that act like sandpaper on your delicate kidney tissues. And most importantly, I will hand you a clinically backed repair protocol designed to reduce the workload on your kidneys, patch the leak, and stop the scarring process in its tracks before it becomes irreversible. Your kidneys are fighting for their life. It is time you gave them reinforcements. If you go to a general practitioner today and mention foamy urine, or if you make the mistake of Googling your symptoms, you are going to get the same generic cut and paste advice. You are just dehydrated. Drink more water, cut out the salt, and you'll be fine. That advice is not just lazy, it is dangerous. Here is the truth. Drinking more water might make the foam disappear, but that is simply because you are diluting your urine. You aren't fixing the leak. You are just hiding the evidence. It's like turning up the radio in your car to drown out the sound of the engine knocking. The damage is still happening, louder and faster, underneath the noise. The other myth you've likely been fed is the normal lab result trap. You might have had a blood test recently. Your doctor looked at your creatinine levels or your GFR, saw they were within the reference range, and told you your kidneys are perfect. They are wrong. Standard kidney function tests are what we call lagging indicators. By the time your creatinine levels actually spike, you have likely already lost 50% of your kidney function. The medical system is designed to detect failure, not damage. Relying on those numbers is like waiting for your house to burn down to the foundation before calling the fire department. The foam is the smoke. The blood tests are the ashes. So if dehydration isn't the real problem, who is the real enemy? The enemy is a state called hyperfiltration. Imagine your kidneys are made of millions of tiny coffee filters. In a healthy body, blood flows through them gently, and the filters catch the waste while keeping the coffee grounds, the protein, inside. But right now, your body is forcing blood through those delicate filters at the pressure of a fire hose. This is glomerular hypertension. Your kidneys are overworked, hyperpressurized, and literally stretching until they tear. When those filters tear, protein molecules slip through the cracks and end up in your toilet bowl. That protein reacts with the air to create the foam you are seeing. It is not your fault that this is happening. You have been following the standard dietary guidelines, eating heart-healthy grains, frequent meals, and avoiding saturated fats. But what if I told you that the very fuel you are putting in your body is what's turning up the pressure on that fire hose? The damage isn't coming from the salt shaker. It's coming from a metabolic process that makes your blood sticky, thick, and abrasive. We need to turn off the pressure before we can patch the filter. But to do that, we have to address a specific hormonal imbalance that virtually no nephrologist talks about until it's too late. It involves a traffic cop hormone that has gone rogue, and it is likely spiking in your bloodstream right now as you watch this. So, if the pressure inside your kidneys is too high, who is cranking the valve? The culprit is insulin. You probably know insulin as the hormone that manages blood sugar, but in the human OS, insulin has a second, much darker job description. It is the body's master traffic cop for sodium and water. Here is the aha moment. Under normal conditions, your kidneys are brilliant at balancing fluids. If you eat a salty meal, a healthy kidney simply flushes the excess sodium out. Balance restored. But when you are insulin resistant, which applies to over 80% of adults, many of whom are not diabetic yet, your insulin levels are chronically high. This traffic cop goes rogue. Instead of directing traffic smoothly, it puts up a roadblock. High insulin literally screams at your kidneys to hold on to sodium. It forbids your body from flushing out salt. And where salt goes, water follows. Because you're retaining salt, you retain water. Your blood volume expands. You're now pumping a higher volume of thick, sticky liquid through the same tiny vessels. This creates a massive surge in what we call intraglomerular pressure. I want to pause here for a second, because this usually shows up in your sleep before it shows up in the toilet bowl. Are you waking up at night to urinate? Once? Twice? Maybe more? This is called Nocturia, and it's a classic sign your kidneys are struggling. Go to the comments right now and type yes and the number of times you wake up. Let's see how common this is in our community. Now, let's visualize why this pressure is destroying your filters. Imagine your kidney's filtering unit, the glomerulus, is a fine mesh pasta strainer. Its job is to drain the boiling water while keeping the pasta, the protein, inside the pot. In a healthy system, you pour the water gently. The mesh works perfectly. But insulin resistance turns your blood flow into a high-pressure fire hose. You are blasting that delicate mesh strainer with massive force, 24 hours a day. At first, the mesh just stretches. This is when the holes get slightly bigger. Then, the mesh begins to tear. This is the mechanism of injury. When the holes in the strainer get stretched out, the pasta, your albumin and protein, starts slipping through the cracks and falling into the sink. That protein hitting the toilet water at high velocity churns up and creates that dense, persistent foam. But here's the kicker. Your body tries to patch these tears, but it doesn't have a sewing kit. It has cement. Your body lays down scar tissue to plug the holes. This is glomerulosclerosis. While the scar tissue stops the leak temporarily, it renders that part of the kidney dead. It becomes hardened rock instead of flexible filter. You lose function permanently. So, the human OS fix is not about drinking more water. It's about lowering the hydraulic pressure in the hose so the mesh stops tearing. But diet is only half the battle. The real danger is a specific biochemical reaction that is caramelizing your kidneys from the inside out, turning flexible tissue into brittle crisp. We call it the browning effect, and you're likely triggering it with your breakfast. We'll break down exactly what that is in a minute. We have established that high pressure is blowing holes in your filters. But pressure alone doesn't explain why the kidney tissue itself turns from healthy pink flesh into white, dead scar tissue. To understand that, we need to look at the chemistry of your blood. There are 3 specific destruction pathways currently active in your body if you are seeing foam in your urine. These pathways are turning your flexible, efficient filters into brittle, clogged pipes. Pathway number 1, the browning effect. In the medical world, we call this glycation. Think of a slice of white bread. It is soft, flexible, and you can bend it without breaking it. Now, put that bread in a toaster. What happens? Heat reacts with the sugars to turn it brown, hard, and brittle. If you try to bend the toast, it snaps. Believe it or not, the exact same chemical process is happening inside your kidneys right now. When you have chronically elevated blood sugar, even if you aren't a full-blown diabetic, glucose molecules become sticky. They float through your bloodstream and latch on to proteins, creating a mutated molecule called an AGE, Advanced Glycation End Product. Here is why this is catastrophic. Your kidney's filtration barrier relies on being flexible to pulsate with your blood flow. But when AGEs circulate, they cross-link with the tissue. They essentially toast your kidney filters from the inside out. Your filters become stiff, they become brittle. And just like the toast, when the high-pressure blood hits them, they don't stretch, they crack. Those cracks are where the albumin leaks out. I am going deep into these mechanisms because standard advice like eat less salt doesn't fix a chemical browning reaction. If you want to master your own biology and stop treating symptoms, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm releasing a guide on reversing arterial stiffness next week that pairs perfectly with this protocol. You do not want to miss it. Pathway number 2, the energy crisis. You might think, I don't eat candy, so I'm safe. But the real villain is fructose. It is hidden in sauces, dressings, commercial breads, and even healthy agave syrups. Unlike glucose, which every cell can use for fuel, fructose is a poison that must be detoxified by the liver. But when you overload the system, the burden shifts to the kidneys. It literally drains the battery of the cell. As the cell struggles to survive, it produces a waste product, uric acid. You might know uric acid from gout, those painful crystals in the big toe. But inside the kidney, uric acid acts like a chemical weapon. It inhibits a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is your body's natural vasodilator. It tells your blood vessels to relax. When uric acid shuts it down, your blood vessels constrict. They tighten. This creates a vicious feedback loop. Fructose generates uric acid. Uric acid kills nitric oxide. The vessels constrict. The pressure skyrockets. You are not just eating sugar. You are chemically inducing localized hypertension inside your renal cortex. Pathway number 3, the suicide of the podocytes. This is the most critical part of the deep dive. In educational, the cells that actually do the filtering, the podocytes, are biologically unique. They do not divide. They do not regenerate. Once they're gone forever. When you combine the high pressure with the brittle tissue and the chemical toxicity, these podocytes detach. They literally fall off the filter and are flushed out in your urine. In medical, when a podocyte falls off, the kidney tries to cover the bare patch with scar tissue. This is the tipping point. The remaining cells have to work harder, which stresses them out, causing them to detach. It becomes a domino effect of cellular suicide. But here is the good news. While you cannot grow new podocytes, you can protect the ones you have left. You can stop the dominoes from falling. You can soften the stiff tissue, lower the pressure, and clear out the AGEs. But to do that, you need a protocol that reverses these three pathways simultaneously. We're going to build that protocol right now. But diet is only half the battle. The real danger is a drink you probably had this morning. We'll get to that in a minute. We have identified the assassins: high hydraulic pressure, the Browning effect, and chemical toxicity. Now we are going to deploy the countermeasures. This is not a lifestyle suggestion. This is a tactical protocol designed to stabilize the GFR and stop the protein leakage. We are going to attack this on three fronts: fuel, preparation, and fortification. Protocol Step 1. Eliminate the liquid sandpaper. I teased a drink earlier. You might assume I'm talking about soda or alcohol. I'm not. The most dangerous drink for a scarring kidney is fruit juice, specifically orange juice and those health smoothies loaded with bananas and dates. Here is why. When you strip the fiber away from fruit or pulverize it in a blender, you are creating a fructose bomb. When you drink that glass of OJ, you are flooding your liver with more fructose than it can handle. As we learned, the overflow mechanism is uric acid. You are spiking your uric acid levels within minutes. You are essentially sandblasting your filters before you've even brushed your teeth. The fix: stop drinking your fruit. If you want an orange, eat the orange. Switch to water with fresh lemon juice. The citrate helps alkalinize the urine, taking stress off the filtration system. Protocol Step 2. The wet cooking rule. We need to stop the accumulation of AGEs. Remember, these are the sticky molecules that turn your filters into brittle toast. The primary source is dry heat cooking, grilling, frying, roasting, and searing. That beautiful brown crust on a steak? That is pure glycation. For the next 30 days, you are going to switch to the wet cooking protocol. Steam, poach, stew, and braise. By cooking with moisture, you physically prevent the chemical reaction that creates the toxin. And here is the acid hack. If you must grill meat, marinate it in vinegar or lemon juice beforehand. The acidity creates a chemical shield that reduces AGE formation by up to 50%. Protocol Step 3. The Renal Armor Stack. Disclaimer: I am a doctor, but I am not your doctor. Check with your practitioner before starting these. Number 1. Benfotiamine. Think of this as the AGE blocker. It acts like a detour sign, diverting glucose away from the pathways that create damage. It stops the browning at the molecular level. Number 2. N-acetylcysteine, or NAC. Your kidneys create massive oxidative stress. Think of glutathione as the janitor that sweeps up the broken glass inside the kidney. If you run out of janitors, the glass accumulates and shreds the tissue. NAC restocks the janitorial closet. Number 3. Astragalus root. This is an ancient herb with modern data. It helps improve blood flow without increasing the pressure, a rare and vital combination. Protocol Step 4. The pressure release valve. Finally, we must lower the insulin. The fastest way to drop insulin is not just what you eat, but when you eat. Implement a 16-8 fasting window. Eat all your meals within an 8-hour window. Why? Because when you are fasting, the traffic cop goes on break. Your kidneys finally get the green light to flush out the excess salt. the fire hose turns back into a garden hose. This gives your podocytes a chance to breathe, reset, and hold on to the filter. Let's bring this home. The foam in your toilet bowl is not a quirk of hydration. It is a biological distress signal. It is your body telling you that the border security has been breached, the filter is tearing, and your most vital resources are leaking away. We do not ignore signals here at Human OS. We decode them. Here is your rapid-fire summary to save your kidneys. Number 1, the diagnosis. That foam is protein. It means your filters are being blasted by high-pressure blood flow and stiffened by caramelization. Number 2, the enemy. It is not just salt. It is insulin resistance holding on to water, fructose spiking uric acid, and dry heat cooking, turning your filters into brittle toast. Number 3, the protocol. Stop the liquid sandpaper. No more fruit juice or high fructose smoothies. Eat the fruit, don't drink it. Cool the heat. Switch to wet cooking or use the acid hack to stop the browning. Reinforce the shield. Consider benfotiamine, NAC, and astragalus to protect the podocytes. Release the pressure. Use a 16-8 fasting window to drop insulin levels and allow your kidneys to finally flush the excess salt and water. Remember, your kidneys are resilient, but they are not invincible. You cannot grow new filters, so you must fiercely protect the ones you have left. Now, we spent a lot of time today talking about pressure. If your kidneys are failing because of high pressure, there is a very high probability that your arteries are stiffening too. The same browning effect destroying your kidneys is turning your blood vessels into rigid pipes, setting the stage for a stroke or heart attack decades before it happens. You need to fix the pipes to save the filter. I have created a dedicated breakdown on exactly how to reverse arterial stiffness. Click this video right here. Your arteries are aging 20 years faster than you. It is the perfect companion to the protocol you just learned. I'll see you there.